guys, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me here today on Patreon for your true crime fix. So before I get started with this next story, I just like to give you guys a heads up when I'm planning on dropping a video from Patreon onto YouTube, and this will be the video. I got inspired by the story off of a Netflix documentary that actually dropped sometime last week, and it's called Sins of a Mother. And so I think the YouTube family would definitely enjoy this true crime, and hopefully we can actually bring in some more people to join the Patreon family. So I hope this video does it for some. So I probably will drop this video a week after you guys have already watched it. So just giving you guys heads up, it's really just to promote the Patreon. So also too, I have a new setup here. I actually have a little mini table that came from Sharper Image, and that's what the microphone is on. Enough with the books and everything else to, prop my microphone on. So any squeaking sounds you hear, like, I don't know if you really can hear it, but it is the new table that I have, my new setup. So okay, like I mentioned, I got inspired to do this story after watching the Netflix documentary. Again, it's called Sins of a Mother, and it is a three episodes. It's only 3 episodes. I think they're about maybe an hour each, or maybe a little less, but at first I was not interested in it, but towards the end of the first episode, I found myself glued to the TV. This case is bizarre. This case has a lot of people involved, and there's a lot of deaths. So I'm gonna try to break down this story the best I can. So we are talking about a lady by the name of Lori Vallow Daybell. She was a devoted mom. She was, religious, went to church, read the Bible, not too religious like that, but, she had her beliefs. She went through 4 husbands, and her 4th husband, when she met him, she actually found him by reading one of his books, and he believed that the apocalypse was coming, and her religion kind of took a dark turn. And so after she met this man, her 4th husband, Chad, her kids go missing, and then a couple of deaths followed through. Let's get into it. So I am reading this off of Wikipedia, and I'll be putting my 2 cents in since I did see the documentary. So I'm going to read what this whole case is about, and then we're going to break it down. So Tylee Ryan was born September 24th, 2002, and died September 9th, 2019. And Joshua Jackson, aka JJ, was born May 25th, 2012, and died September 23rd, 2019. They were 2 American children from Chandler, Arizona, who disappeared in September 2019 and was found dead June was last seen alive on September 23rd, 2019 at Rexburg Kennedy Elementary School. He was initially reported missing by relatives concerned about not only the children, from who they had not heard in weeks, but also several other suspicious incidents. So one thing I would like to mention is that Tylee died at 16 and her brother died at the age of 7. JJ had autism, and just from the home videos that I watched that they showed on Netflix, she was the protective sister, and she loved that little boy to death. And in every video, it's like she was taking care of him like she was his mother. And in some of the home videos, she did say that she kind of felt like JJ's mom because she was very, very protective over him, which is why I think, in my personal opinion, she died first. I believe that they took her out first, knowing that she would fight for her younger brother. So, you know how they always say, take out the big guy first, or the muscle guy, or whatever. In November 2019, police questioned the child's mother, Lori Vallow Daybell, about the children's whereabouts and welfare. So for months, people were asking her, where are your kids? Where are your kids? Where are your kids? And she would say, they're fine, or she would say something like, oh, they're at my friend's house, or, you know, JJ's sleeping at his friend's house. She always gave an excuse. And then when all of her excuses ran out, she just kept saying, the kids are okay, the kids are okay, the kids are okay. That's all she kept saying for 9 fucking months. She did not let anybody know where these kids were. Lori and her new husband, Chad Daybell, claimed that JJ, the youngest one, was staying with a family friend, Melanie Gibb, in Arizona, where they had lived before moving to Idaho in early September 2019. When police reached Gibbs by phone, she told police that Joshua, aka JJ, was not with her and had not been seen for several months. More than a week later, Gibbs called police, saying that both Lori and Chad had asked her to lie to the police about JJ's whereabouts, but she refused. Police efforts to locate JJ led to the discovery that Tylee was also missing. So all this time, no one knew that this young girl was missing, Tylee. By the way, that name Tylee is so cute. They spell it Tylee, Tylee. That's such a pretty name. But nobody knew this young girl was missing until they realized that JJ was missing, which is crazy. Okay, then they just go into, there's a complication. This is a complicated case. And there was a string of suspicious deaths, like Lori. Well, we're gonna get into that, but in total deaths, there were 2 kids. Lori's ex-husband, and then Chad, her 4th husband, his ex-wife. So there's 4 murders here. 4. So we are going to break all of this down. So let's start with, I guess we're gonna start with Lori, right? So Lori, actually on social media, they call her Doomsday Mom. Doomsday Mom. So how did we everything. And it's sad because he mentioned that with him and his siblings, you know, they had a fun life. And it wasn't until their mother met Chad that everything went to shit. So okay, so she's on her second marriage and she had a firstborn named Colby. And then it does a year, who was later arrested on 2 counts of sexual assault in Arizona. In 2020, charges were dropped without prejudice before divorcing on February 25th. So, that's that. So, Lori's marriage did not last at all to William. So then in 2001, Lori married Joseph Anthony Ryan, who legally adopted Colby. The couple's biological daughter, Tylee, was born in 2002. Ryan filed for divorce on August 13, 2004, which was finalized in May 18, 2005. So, her second marriage, she had her oldest son, Colby. Then she remarried to a guy named Joseph, who she then had a daughter, which was Tylee. So now she has 2 children. But then her and Joseph did not work out. This is her third husband. Did not work out. Then it says here that in 2007, Ryan, her third husband, was attacked by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Okay, her third husband was attacked by Lori's brother, Alex, who claimed Ryan had been abusive to Lori and the children. Then Alex Cox, the brother, tasered Ryan and threatened to murder him. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 90 days in jail, which he served in Austin, Texas. By the way, her brother died of a blood clot and high blood pressure on December 12th, 2019. And that's really important because when he passed away, he died with a lot of secrets. A lot of secrets. So, that was her third husband. Then she married another guy by the name of Leland Anthony Vallow, commonly known as Charge Vallow. She married him in February 2016. He was from Vegas. He was a lifelong Catholic and became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, converting to his new wife's faith. Vallow had 2 sons from a previous marriage, Nicholas and Zachary. In 2013, the couple adopted Vallow's grandnephew, Joseph Jackson JJ. So here we have a lady, Lori, who was married 4 times, and out of the 4 times, she had a son named Colby. Then she had a daughter named Tylee, and then her 4th husband, they decided to adopt their grandnephew, and that was Joseph Jackson JJ. So that's how the 3 kids came about. So, and like I said, I have to mention again that JJ also had autism, because I just maybe it was a problem for her. I don't even know. But anyway, they adopted the grandnephew JJ before moving to Hawaii in 2014. So we are now established now, right? Lori has her 4th husband and the 3 kids. Around 2015, actually, well, Colby is the oldest. He's been out of the house, so basically they have the 2 younger ones, Tylee and JJ. religious, that they're sitting there like cleaning out their kids, college tuition account, or they're emptying their savings and checking account. They're giving up everything they have. They're joining cults. They are willing to die for their cause. They're willing to drink, Kool-Aid with poison in it. I just never understood people who get so consumed. Like, yeah, you need to kill, like, 5 people and then you go to heaven type of thing. And they're out there killing the 5 people so they can go to heaven. I guess because my religious beliefs are not that strong to, I don't know, empty out my bank account. No, like a simple reading a scripture and going home. What's wrong with that? But then when people start talking about the apocalypse and, all the young people have to die, and, it's just, what? What? And that's why I don't talk religion or politics. Like, I dabbled into politics when I just couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore. But I definitely don't make it a habit, because I understand now that people, when it comes to like religion and politics, there's really no talking someone down. They believe what they believe, and so I just leave it alone, because that can really get into a heated conversation. But yeah, like someone walking up to me and telling me that we've been married in 7 previous lifetimes, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? So several weeks after their initial meeting, I read that already. Oh no. Several weeks after their initial meeting, Lori's husband left town on a business trip, and Lori held an intimate overnight gathering at her home. In attendance were both, okay, I read that, I did read that. Okay, according to Gibb, Chad stated that he had lived 31 different lives on various Earths like planet. He referred to others as light or dark, and various graduations in between. Chad believed that dark individuals were from this earth, but were followers of Satan. Those who were light were followers of Jesus Christ. Chad Daybell referred to Lori as an internal being of 21 separate lives, only 5 of which had occurred on this planet. The same 5 had lived on the planet. This is crazy. Lori had been thrilled and attracted to this belief system and became increasingly fixated on this newfound purpose and on Chad. All I'm gonna say is, somehow or another, Chad convinced her that her kids must die for the greater good. I don't, because again, if you can't trust your fucking parents, who can you trust? Like, wow. On December 5th, 2018, Chad and Lori appeared together on the Preparing a People podcast episode, Time to Warrior Up. Chad later stayed at the Vallow residence in Arizona. By February 2019, according to Charles, Lori was informing him that she no longer cared about him or JJ, and claimed that she was the reincarnated wife of LDS founder Joseph Smith. Then she vanished for 58 days. So could you imagine, right? Please hold. Could you imagine that you had like this picture perfect home, and then you go away to business or something, and then you come back, and then your wife is telling you that she no longer cares about you, and she doesn't care about JJ either. That shit is crazy. They are doing yard work outside. When it gets closer to my window, I will be ending the video and then starting back up again when they're finished, because I do hear them coming down. So, she vanishes for 58 days. That same month, Charles filed for divorce, stating that his wife had threatened to murder him, taking $35,000 from their joint bank account and stolen his truck. He filed for an order of protection against Lori at the advice of his attorney, citing a genuine fear for his life. Okay, after Charles's death, his attorney stated he was primarily concerned for JJ's safety and well-being, as he needed a constant routine due to his special needs. Again, he was autistic. Charles was also concerned for Tylee, but he was unable to include her in the filings as she was not his biological daughter, and thus he had no legal standing. He withdrew the petition 1 month later, saying he wanted to try to make the marriage work. So, let's backtrack once again. So we have Lori with 3 kids. She then picks up a book and reads this book, and she becomes fixated and obsessed with the way this new guy, Chad, I guess his beliefs or his religious beliefs, you know, he tells her that they've been married in 7 previous lives, and she was this and she was that, and then all of a sudden she's telling her husband at that time that she no longer cared about him, and she no longer cared about the youngest child, JJ. Then she threatened to murder him. She stole $35,000, and then she left for 58 days. Charles then filed for divorce, saying that he was scared for his life. He was scared for JJ, and although he was also scared for Tylee, but because she was not his biological daughter, there was nothing he can do about that. But then he withdrew his petition a month later, claiming that he wanted to work things out. I honestly believe that Lori fed him some bullshit, and he probably generally really loved his family and wanted this shit to work out. But as we know, Charles was killed, actually. So February, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months later, in July, Charles, her 4th husband, was shot and killed by Lori's brother Alex, who claimed self-defense. Alex Cox, aka the brother, alleged that he went to confront Charles about abusing his sister. So here comes Lori making all these lies and saying that, you know, Charles was abusing me and the kids, and she told that to her brother. Her brother then got upset and went over to Charles to confront him about abusing his sister, where Charles struck him in the head with a bat. So he went to get his gun. Police did not pursue the matter further. Both JJ and Tylee had witnessed the incident, according to an unidentified son of Charles from a previous marriage. Lori did not inform the family about the shooting, and he learned about it from the news. Lori was indicted in June for conspiracy to murder Charles. We'll get to that in a minute. But listen to this shit. A wedding ring was purchased on Amazon from the deceased Charles' account for $35 on October 2nd, 2019. 17 days before the death of Chad's wife. So, Amazon and buys a $35 ring, $35.99. Her husband was killed in July, and she's buying a wedding ring in October from her dead husband's account, which was 17 days before the death of Chad's wife. Chad is now Lori's new husband. Lori's husband number five. So remember, Chad is the one that she became fixated with. Chad is the one that said they were married 7 times and I don't know, in different planets or whatever. So Chad had a wife, and all of a sudden now she's dead. So her new husband Chad has a wife that's dead, and now Lori's ex-husband is also dead. Another factor contributing to the mystery was Chad and Lori's documented obsession with certain Mormon influence apocalypse belief, which Chad discussed in numerous books and podcasts. So we're gonna talk about Chad. So that was Lori. So Lori had 5 husbands. Her 4th husband was killed and shot by her brother, and now her 5th husband, ex-wife, is now dead, and now we have 2 missing kids. Are you following? Let me break it down again. We have Lori on her 5th husband, right? Her 4th husband was killed by her brother Alex because Lori claimed that he was abusing her and the kids. The big brother went over there to confront Charles. They got into a confrontation and he shot and killed him. By the way, Alex died from a blood clot 2 or 3 months later. So now that Lori's 4th husband is dead, Lori decides to use her dead husband's Amazon account to purchase a wedding ring for her new love, Chad. But the interesting thing about it is they're buying wedding rings, and then 17 days, what did they say, 17 days later, 17 days before the death of Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. So we have 2 deaths. We have Tammy gone, which was Chad's ex-wife. We had Lori's ex-husband gone, and we have the 2 children missing. So let's talk about Chad real quick. So Chad was born on August 11th, 1968, and he married Tamara, aka Tammy, on March 9th, 1990. We really don't care where he graduated from. We don't give a damn because I'm just disgusted by all this. It says here that he went to school for journalism and worked as a cemetery gravedigger, among other jobs. Then he found a book company which he used to self-publish his end times fiction and other religious books. Yeah, we don't care. In 2015, Chad claimed he heard voices telling him to relocate to Rexburg, Idaho. He and Tammy, his wife, moved there from Springville, Utah that June. On October 9, 2019, Tammy reported on Facebook profile and to police that she had been shot at in her driveway by a masked man with what she believed was a defective paintball marker. Is that like a paintball gun? I'm assuming. The county sheriff office did not find the perpetrator. 10 days later, Tammy was found dead in her home. From natural causes. 10 days later, Tammy was found dead in her home. Okay, Chad claimed she had retired the night before with a terrible cough and died in her sleep. Lori's ex-wife being killed by her brother, they knew something was not right, and she refused, I repeat, she refused to tell anyone where these children were. So they decided to exhume her fifth husband Chad's wife's body, but they never, even in the documentary, they never actually said what she died from. But whatever it was not by natural causes, and now both Lori and Chad are also up for the murder of Tammy. Shortly after, the Fremont County prosecutor, office announced they would be handling the case going forward. So that is Chad. And you know what else too, like watching a documentary this whole time, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I always thought that Lori was running things, the way she spoke to him, the way she demanded things. I thought it was her, running things, but evidently not. So, okay. So, now we have Chad and Lori are together. Both of their ex-spouses are now dead, and the two kids are missing. As of September 23rd, 2019, a doorbell video of JJ playing with a friend is the last known video of him taken. His last confirmed sighting was at Rexburg Kennedy Elementary School. On September 24th, 2019, Lori contacted the school to tell them that she was withdrawing JJ from classes, claiming she would be homeschooling him. I have a question about that because I've heard and seen that more than one time. Doesn't somebody have to, does anybody come and check to make sure that these kids are homeschooled? Is there something that you have to fill out and give to somebody to say that you are qualified to homeschool your children? I never understood that. I know what homeschooling means, but a lot of these cases that we talk about, a lot of times the parents withdraw their kids because they don't want them talking to anybody, or there's bruises or evidence that something is not right at home. But I just wonder, is there anyone that checks up on this shit? And do you have to have a certificate, or can you just go online? I don't know nothing about homeschooling, so it's just a question now. So yeah, JJ was last seen on September 23rd. Lori called the school on the 24th, stating that he would not be back because he was going to be homeschooled. Tylee, the oldest daughter, 16, was last seen September 8th at Yellowstone National Park with her brother JJ, her mother Lori, and her uncle Alex. That's what I'm saying. When Alex Cox died of that blood clot, he took a whole lot of secrets with him. Like, a lot. In October 2019, so remember the kids have been missing since September. In October, 2 Venmo payments were made from Tylee's account to her older half-brother, Colby Ryan. One payment was sent on October 10th with a message that read, "We love you." And the second payment was sent on October 16th now know that Tylee was killed first. She was killed on September 8th or 9th, and her brother was last seen on the 23rd. So there was like, what, 2 or 3 weeks in between. So for a whole month, the mother, or aka Chad, we don't know, was actually acting like Tylee to her half brother. Like, this shit is crazy. Who does shit like that? Chad and Lori were married in Hawaii on November 5th, which is crazy because think about it, right? July 11th is when Charles was shot and killed. July, August, September, October, November. So 4 months later, you are married in Hawaii. Oh, it breaks it down for us. Chad and Lori were married in Hawaii on November 5th, just 2 weeks after the death of Chad's first wife, Tammy Daybell. There, they told others that Tylee had died in 2017, and or that Lori had no minor children. Back in Rexburg on November 26th, police visited Lori's townhouse at the request of JJ's grandmother, Kay Woodcox, to conduct a welfare check on JJ. Lori told police that JJ was in Arizona with a friend. That night, a neighbor saw Lori and Alex packing. Remember Alex is a brother, packing a truck outside her home. When the police and FBI arrived the next day to search the home, it was abandoned. Chad's home was also searched by investigators. So what they're basically saying here is that 3 months later, Chad and Lori were married, right? And this is after 2 weeks after Chad's first wife had mysteriously died. So in Hawaii, they were telling people that, the couple was telling people that, because you remember they lived there before. She lived in Hawaii with her fourth husband, Charles. So people in Hawaii knew her. So she's now telling people after she married her fifth husband in Hawaii that Tylee had died in 2017 and that she had no minor children. So she didn't even mention the fact that she adopted JJ, the youngest one. Nothing. So then after, and it's so funny because on the Netflix documentary, we actually see the wedding and she's smiling and dancing and on the beach, and there's like, your kids have been missing. You're acting like you don't give a shit. She didn't even invite her oldest son, Colby, to the wedding, and he found it really, really weird that she would marry this guy just by herself. And just the fact that you're smiling and dancing in these videos, and it's like, y'all have just been murdering people left and right, so anyway, after people noticed that they got married, the FBI, after Thanksgiving, went to on November 26th, they went back. The police went to Lori's townhouse at the request of JJ's grandmother. So JJ and the grandmother were very, very close, and they spoke a lot. And every time she was trying to contact JJ, there was an excuse on where he was. He was out playing and this and that. The grandmother knew that JJ had autism, and that they needed to do a welfare check on him because she has not heard from him. And then, of course, and that's when Lori lied and said that JJ was with her friend Melanie that we mentioned in the beginning. And Melanie told the police, like, no, there's actually a conversation between Melanie and Lori on the Netflix documentary. suspicions. A neighbor saw Lori and Alex, the brother, packing up the home, and she ran. From December 2019 to January 2020, the Rexburg Police, the Fremont County Sheriff Office, and the FBI intensified the investigation into the disappearance of the two children, as well as the investigation into Tammy's death and the flight of Chad and Lori from Idaho. Evidence was collected and Tammy's body was exhumed for autopsy. Colby, the firstborn, and JJ, the youngest, grandparents pled with the Daybells to return the children with a reward of $20,000. Investigators knew that Joshua, aka JJ, and Tylee lives were in danger. The children are not with Chad and Lori. Lori knows where they are and what had happened to them, but she has completely refused to assist in the investigation, choosing instead to live this date with her new husband. So this part of the documentary really got to me because I'm like, why the fuck are you giving her time to tell you where the kids are? Like, arrest the bitch now and let's get it poppin'. Like, I don't understand this whole, well, we're gonna give you to the end of the month. Fuck that. She had since September to produce these kids, and now we're like in the next year, in January 2020. Like, get the fuck out of here. Absolutely not. Through their lawyer, the Daybell stated that Chad Daybell was a loving husband and he has the support of his children in this matter. Lori Daybell is a devoted mother and she resents. Listen, you were a devoted mother. You were like the mother of the year, the mother of the century. But then you met bitch ass Chad who changed your whole thinking, and now you're murking people because you think you were his wife in like 7 other planets or 7 lifetimes ago. What? Like, again, if you cannot trust your parents, then who do you trust? I don't know. Anyway, authorities who turned their attention to a Rexburg storage locker rented by Lori in October. Inside, they discovered items belonging or associated with Tylee and JJ, such as clothing, bikes, photographs, all of which had been abandoned when Lori suddenly left Rexburg at the end of November because she actually fled to Hawaii. Video footage shows her and her brother Alex moving items in and out of the locker prior to her departure. On February 20th, 2020, Lori was arrested by the Hawaii police and charged with 2 felony counts: and desertion and non-support of dependent children by prosecutors. Basically saying that she's not cooperating with the cops and she refused to tell anybody where her children are. She was also charged with 3 misdemeanors: resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. Lori was held on a $5 million bail. She later agreed to be extradited back to Idaho to fight the charges. Extradited. The judge lowered her bail to $1 million. On May 1st, 2020, Lori appeared for a court hearing and requested a reduction of her $1 million bail. The judge denied her request. Like, the nerve of you. You've been running from the cops. You've been hiding shit in your storage unit. You won't tell us where the kids are. And you really, and we can't forget the fact that your ex-husband was murdered and your husband's ex-wife was murdered. But In June 2020, police executed a search warrant at Chad's home. And this is actually really funny because, she called Chad from jail because she was arrested first. And the conversation went something like this. She was like, hey. He said, hey. He said, yeah, the police are here, digging up in the backyard. She said, really? He said, yeah. So we will see how that turns out. She said, okay. Well, can I call you later? And he said, nah, I don't think calling me today is a good idea. It's like they were just so nonchalant about it, and their voices were like one tone. It didn't get loud or low. No one got excited. Like no one was surprised. It was the weirdest jail phone conversation I've ever heard. And then in the back of Chad's home, where they discovered human remains buried in a AKA pet cemetery. Chad was booked into jail later that day. And actually, too, the funny thing is, when they were digging up his backyard, Chad actually had the audacity to try to get in his car and run. But of course, they caught him. He was later charged with felony murder. On June 10th, his bail was also set at $1 million. On July 2nd, they dropped 2 other charges against Lori. 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children, and instead charged her with obstruction and concealment of evidence in regards to her children's remains. So they dropped the bullshit charge and gave her a better charge. Trial has since been postponed until early 2023 in hopes that Lori is able to be deemed competent by that time. And we do know that actually as of this year, she was deemed competent to go on trial, and they're doing a joint trial together. And then it says here that she had other, about the bonds. Then it says here on May 25th, 2021, Chad and Lori were indicted on charges of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and grand theft by deception for the deaths of Tylee and JJ and Tammy. Lori was charged with grand theft related to Social Security survivor benefits over $1,000. And then other charges about the missing kids and not, Chad was charged with insurance fraud related to life insurance policy he and Tammy Daybell. Right, so now that they realized that he might have killed Tammy, he collected life insurance from her, and now they're realizing that he killed her, and now that's considered insurance fraud. So, also too, I found interesting that they found JJ's body first, I do believe, and it was really creepy because the last picture that was shown of him, he was in his red pajamas, and that's how they found him, still in his red pajamas. And then they found Tylee, maybe in the backyard, not too far from him. It also seemed as if they tried to burn her body in this fire pit. It's just disgusting. Then it says on June 10th, 2020, it was confirmed that the human remains found on Chad's property were those of Tylee and JJ. The findings were officially confirmed by the Roxburgh police on June 13th. Since their children's remains were found, they are no longer considered missing, and the investigation is now focused on determining the circumstance surrounding their deaths. It's funny because they never, I don't think they're ever going to release that. They won't say what the children died from, because I'm dying to know like how they did it, you know. And just, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. And then here they have a timeline of everything here. Then it says here, let's see, I'm just trying to see, Judge denied Chad request to separate the case from Lori. Oh, so it says here, it's interesting that on March 21st, 2022, Judge denied Chad Daybell's request to separate his case from Lori, which is crazy because I guess having it together is like a death sentence, right? Because it seems as if they're charging both of them with the exact same crimes, and I guess he's gonna say, well, those were her kids, and I didn't tell her to do this and that, and I didn't know she buried them in my backyard. But that's why I think they're gonna go with that. But the judge denied it. And then on April 11th, the judge declared that Lori is now competent to stand trial. She was released from the... Actually, when did she go in, though? Okay. Oh, we need to go back. This is interesting. Okay, so May 2021 to August 2021. And May 25th, Lori and Chad are charged with the murder of Tammy Daybell, Tylee Ryan, and JJ. They're both. On the 27th, Lori is deemed incompetent and unfit to stand trial. Due to this, there is a stay in her case in Idaho. So, I guess she felt as if, you know, I guess adding on, see, throughout the whole show, even when she went to her first court date, right, she seemed completely out of it. Her makeup seemed as if she was trying to look like a clown. She just was, you know, like looking for her husband. She didn't care for her oldest son, Colby. It was just weird behavior, right? So I guess she felt as if, okay, well, maybe I might go down for the kids, but no, they actually added Tammy Daybell to the deaths. And if you're not following, Tammy is Chad's ex-wife. Then, like I said, she's deemed to incompetent and unfit to stand trial. Then on the 29th, she's indicted by Arizona grand jury on conspiracy to murder her husband Charles. So not only is she up for the murder of Tammy Daybell, Tylee Ryan, and JJ, she's also now up for conspiracy to murder her husband Charles. But see, that one she might be able to probably get away with, since Alex, her brother, was the one who killed him and he passed away. So I wonder how that's gonna go. And then on August 25th, prosecutors announced that they are seeking the death penalty for Chad Daybell. I wonder why they're not giving the death penalty for her, though. August 6th, they were each given a death penalty certified attorney. I didn't know they even had that. And so in May, she was considered unfit to stand trial. On August 30th, she's still found incompetent due to incomplete status update from the mental health facility. So for the rest of 2021, the judge found Lori incompetent to stay trial. So she was given another 180 days to basically get her shit together. On October 8th, 2021, Judge grants Chad request for change of venue. Blah, 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 blah. And then on March 21st, 2022, the judge denied Chad's request to separate his case from Lori's case. On April 11th of this year, the judge declared that Lori is now competent to stand trial. She was released from the mental health facility in the custody of Fremont County Sheriff's Department. It says here that Lori is arraigned. She was silent as her lawyer put in a plea of not guilty for her. The trial is set for October 11, 2022 to December 16, 2022. So the trial is about to start. Then on April 28th, the judge denied requests for Chad's attorney to drop his charges. The judge also denies a request from prosecutors to have a jury transported. Oh, well, we don't care about that. Then on May 2nd of this year, the prosecution announced they'll be seeking the death penalty for Lori as well, asserting that she qualifies for capital punishment because the killings were exceptionally private and financially motivated. The start date of Lori's trial had been changed from October 11th to January 9th, 2023. This is to make sure that she and Chad will be tried together. Like, the judge is dead set on making sure that these crimes or the trial is together. And that's all, basically. That's it. So yeah, I hope you were able to follow this case. Like I said, Lori was married 5 times. When she married her 5th husband, he was a different type of religious dude. I don't know what to call him, and she fell for it. So because he had stronger religious belief as Apocalypse, she actually killed her 2 kids, but letting the public think that they were just missing. She also had her ex-husband was killed for financial reasons, and come to find out that Chad killed his ex-wife for financial gain as well. So for this